So, today we are going to talk about my YouTube channel or the things which are not exciting. I'm talking about, oh my goodness, I have really bad sense of humor. I just roasted myself. Today we are going to talk about the fights which are not exciting in the UFC, and that fight fills me with no sort of intrigue, fills me with no sort of I am not waiting for those fights because those fights are not the things that are like the things that I watch UFC for. The first fight that I'm going to talk about is Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. I really don't like this fight being stretched out so much. I was initially excited to see how Conor McGregor recovers from such a no, not life threatening, but such a, like devastating injury. He literally broke his leg. So I was excited to see whether Conor McGregor is the same. I know he won't be the same. Just adjusting it so that you can see my stethoscope on the background and you can see that this is a doctor talking to you. So the first fight is like Conor McGregor. I already said that Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, and that is not exciting to me at all because Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. I have to keep one thing like if I get that on my background, my microphone is not set up, and if I have this microphone like this, then it's not visible. My stethoscope in the background is not visible. So as you have might have noticed, this stethoscope is like literally positioned there in a very strategic way so that like I could flex that I am a doctor. Haha. So the fight that I'm going to talk about, the first fight that is not exciting for me at all, it's just keep getting limp. I don't know why. Again, a very bad joke. Again, a very ill-timed humor. So we're going to talk about Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, and I think that is not exciting. What's wrong with my hair? That's not exciting at all because I think this fight was made in a way that we could have seen Conor McGregor just bounce back after one of the most devastating, injuries we have seen. We have previously saw Anderson Silva coming back from a broken leg, and it wasn't like he wasn't at his prime, and then it was like very boring fights. I mean, not boring, his fights were still interesting, but it wasn't the old Anderson Silva. So I was just waiting for this fight to see Conor McGregor, whether he's the same or he's somewhat of compromised fighter that he was previously. Like, he was someone who can strike very well, so is his kicks are as same as earlier. So I was intrigued in that aspect. So this is how I look at fights. I look at fights at, like, if the stylistic matchup makes sense for me and it is interesting for me, I like that fight. I don't care usually whether it's important for the title picture or something like that, because those are for the elite fighters, like not for Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler. We know that they are not the best in the lightweight division. So if the fight is interesting, I'm intrigued. But the way that we are waiting for like a whole year, so I don't think that is the thing that we wanted. And now we are waiting again and again. I thought that it would happen on July 29th, but it June 29th, I think, but it didn't happen. So I think, I mean, I'm no longer gonna wait for this. Like, it's not the fight that is like the top level fight. I was just interested in one thing, like how Conor McGregor looked after his return, but it's not even that now. It's just like Conor McGregor might lose this fight, might win this fight, but it doesn't even have a sense of, it doesn't have a sense of all, like I'm not waiting for that fight. It has just gone down the level of interest that I have for fights. It's just now, I think, on the level of, what should I say, on the tier level, I think it is one of the least interesting fight that I'm interested in. I'm more interested in Max Holloway and Ilya Topuria than Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. Max Holloway and Ilya Topuria, way better matchup, and I am really interested for that. And everybody was talking like the Sphere UFC Noche, that Spanish card that they are doing, the Mexican card that they are doing. I think Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler isn't good enough for that. I think it should be Ilya Topuria versus someone like Max Holloway. I think that's way more intriguing, and that's way more, that catches my attention more. You know, I'm not simply interested in someone who is just keeps us waiting for another year, like whole year. It's just not a good thing. It's just not good thing for the UFC. It's not good thing for the fans. So I'm not interested in that fight. The second fight that I will talk about, maybe I will just edit it out to make a different video. But the second fight that I'm really not interested is John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. I don't think Stipe Miocic is a worthy title contender. I don't think in the last fight he was knocked out by Francis Ngannou. So he's not a worthy title contender, and he shouldn't fight for the title. It shouldn't be the case. But UFC is just pushing this fight as the heavyweight greatest of all time versus light heavyweight greatest of all time. So John Jones win this fight, he just clears his legacy as the greatest of all time. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that should be the case, because the point here is that you have to fight the best heavyweight of your time, and that is Tom Aspinall. As much as I hate Mr. Kyle, I made a video about him. I like Tom Aspinall's chances against someone like John Jones, and John Jones is a thing of past. He will never be able to defeat Tom Aspinall at the point, like at what we saw. Maybe something will change, but the things that we are seeing right now, I don't think Tom Aspinall will be defeated by someone like John Jones with his crazy, fast, boxing. I think Tom Aspinall has a very, very high chance of knocking out John Jones cold. With especially John Jones doesn't have very good boxing. He has very good kickboxing because of his kicks, but he doesn't have very good boxing. So I think Tom Aspinall will win against John Jones, and so John Jones should fight Tom Aspinall. That fight is way more interesting, and it just kills the vibe. Like, I really don't like someone who is just stepping away from the game, just clearing his name just because he wants to defeat someone who was the greatest of all time in the heavyweight division. I don't think like Stipe Miocic will be a greatest of all time in the heavyweight division, because it will be Alex Pereira. I mean, I'm joking. It will be Tom Aspinall. I mean, he's gonna be like champion for a long, long time. Just get ready. This is an era of Tom Aspinall. I think he's one of the best boxers in UFC. I'm not lying. I'm not saying something just because he's an heavyweight and he has decent punching ability. So I will just name him as the best boxer because he is someone like heavyweight division is typically not filled with those who have good boxing ability. I'm not someone like that, but I will just say that someone like Tom Aspinall at heavyweight division is the best boxer, and I think he's one of the best boxers in the UFC. I think top 5 or even top 7, top 8. I think Tom Aspinall is one of the very, very good boxers. So in my opinion, I think if John Jones wants to be considered as greatest of all time, he has to defeat Tom Aspinall. No longer that fight with Stipe Miocic, which was long scheduled, earlier than Tom Aspinall risen to the top, became the, what should I say, interim champion. I don't think this fight needs to happen. I think it should be Tom Aspinall versus, especially after Tom Aspinall wins against Curtis Blades, because that's a very tough matchup for Tom Aspinall, but I believe that he will win. So Stipe Miocic, the old Stipe Miocic, the firefighter Stipe Miocic, shouldn't need to, like, he should fight someone in order to prove that he is worthy of contender. He is worthy of being a contender. He's worthy of having this title fight. I don't think he deserves it because he just got knocked out in his last fight, and he just is getting awarded because UFC has this thing where they have to fight. They have to make a fight with greatest of all time, greatest heavyweight mixed martial artist of all time in terms of Stipe Miocic. Yes, he is at this point of time greatest heavyweight mixed martial artist, but like, his era is he's way past his prime and he's way past his era. That's it for the video, and I really don't like this fight. I mean, I would like to know the opinion of the people who are maybe interested in these fights, but me, just don't cotton pin on that. That's what we do in this channel. We talk about the things that get me excited, like UFC, football, and various things that get me excited in a good way. So that's what we do in this channel. We talk about martial arts. There's a link in my YouTube. What should I say? In my YouTube, there's a link of my Patreon, but like, it's just a way to keep my channel afloat. As you can see, I'm a doctor. I don't need this, but I just do this because I really like martial arts, and I have zero friends. I'm not just telling you a lie. I'm not just telling you something like, I'm not just telling you this thing because I'm not telling you this thing just because to get, like some sort of favor. I genuinely say this. At this moment of my life, I have no friends who watch martial arts, and I really, really love UFC and I really, really love martial arts. So if you like such content, please like, share, and subscribe. I really want to have friends who talk about martial arts. If you like such content, please like, share, and subscribe.